This is very 2012. I really like this beat, you know. So I'm currently recording this video on the 23rd of February, and this Sunday, which is the 26th, I will be going to see Hoodie Allen live in London. And I thought, what better way to prepare for the live show than going back and reacting to his 2012 debut album, All American. I've been listening to Hoodie Allen for many years now, probably all the way back in 2012 is when I discovered him. And I think I discovered him in sort of like Call of Duty montages and things like that.
We should take a walk someday, dream about what we could have been. But I don't wanna leave this place, there's no faith in Brooklyn.
And obviously his career has really developed since then. And this album here was the album that started it all, really. And I thought it would just be interesting to go back and listen to this album, see, you know, if it's aged well, if it still holds up today. And I haven't listened to this whole album in full, but I do know two of the songs on here, which is No Interruptions and No Faith in Brooklyn, which were two of his biggest songs at the time. It's only a short album, only 8 songs, I know 2 of them already. But what I will be doing is I'll be doing a tier list as well. So once I've listened to a song, we'll be ranking it depending on how much I like it, but I'll get into that more when we get to that part of the video. So yeah, let's get straight into it with the first song, Lucky Man.
I mean, we really kind of never know what we're doing. But let's go somewhere. Because on a night like tonight, I kind of feel like anything's possible. We all American. Go!
Take a sip of my drink, fucking take the bottle. I've dated grad school chicks and I've dated models. I'm a lucky man, maybe I should play the lotto.
At 2-door coupe, me and Sufjan. Tell him I don't even need a deal like Groupon. Cause all she
Drink, fucking take the bottle. I've dated grad school chicks and I've dated models. I'm a lucky man, maybe I should play the lotto. But they don't wanna swallow their pride.
looking for world peace, but they end up with our testing. 1, 2, 3, here's the microphone. I kick it with the hoodie mob, and now I feel like Al Capone. But
they don't wanna swallow their pride. But they don't wanna ruin the surprise.
Okay, so that was the first track, Lucky Man, and before we get into that, I'm just going to go through the tier list that I mentioned earlier on in the video. So when I do these reaction videos, I like to have a tier list as well, so I can sort of convey my initial impressions of the song. I'm sure you guys know what a tier list is, but if you don't, it's pretty much the higher the tier, the more I like the song. So as you can see, there's 5 tiers there. At the bottom, we've got Miss. Now, songs in this category, it basically means that I don't like it at all. One above that is Not For Me. You know, sometimes you listen to songs and they're just not really your cup of tea, so you know, you can't just always skip them when you listen to the record. One above that, we've got Re-Listen. You know, sometimes you listen to a song for the first time and you don't really gauge it that well. You want to get back into it, so you listen to it a few more times and yeah, just revisit it at another date. Above that, we've got Straight Into My Playlist. So that means that I really like it and it's going to go straight into my massive playlist of songs. And then the top tier, we have No Interruptions, which is, you know, the top tier, the God tier. If any songs are on here that hit that level, then they will join No Interruptions up there. So yeah, No Interruptions is probably my favorite Hoodie Allen song, which I don't think is a controversial opinion. It's by far the most popular song on this album. So yeah, that's the tier list, and let's get back into the first song, Lucky Man. And I mentioned at the start of the video about how, you know, I was curious whether this album would hold up or whether it would kind of feel a bit out of place in 2023. I think the first thing I noticed really is that the music is definitely made for that sort of time. I'm sure people who are my sort of age, you know, 24, you know, if you were born in sort of the time between, I don't know, 95 and 2003, kind of all went through the same sort of musical journey of like, you know, like Jason Derulo, Chris Brown, all that kind of stuff hitting the charts, you know, when Lady Gaga first started and Rihanna. And that was a really cool era of music, but unfortunately not a lot of those songs kind of translate well nowadays. Not a lot of them have kind of passed the test of time. A lot of them do, but there's also a load of songs that kind of really do feel out of place now. And not that I think this song is kind of bad or anything, but it definitely feels like a song made for that era. You know, it kind of reminded me initially of Chitty Bang, Opposite of Adults. That's the kind of vibe I got it from it straight away. And I do still really like that Chitty Bang record, but I think this song, the first one, Lucky Man, yeah, kind of fits into that category of maybe hasn't progressed that well through time and is kind of in that 2012 era. Obviously, music's changed a lot since 2012. Hoodie Allen's changed a lot since 2012. And I'm sure if I listened to this song 12 years ago, I would have absolutely loved it. But I think in the current state, I think, yeah, I think probably it just wouldn't be for me. I'd probably put it in a not for me tier. And whilst we're on the tier list, I might as well go to the next song, No Interruptions. Now, there's no point me really including it in this video because I have heard it so many times. It's by far my most played Hoodie Allen song, yeah, alongside No Faith in Brooklyn. Another one actually that I really like is You're Not a Robot.
Let me to take the safe route. This is the detour. Hoodie, baby, you ain't seen a kid like this before him.
Which is actually a sample from Marina and the Diamonds, or I think she's just called Marina now. But that song isn't on Spotify, it's only on YouTube because of copyright sampling, all that kind of stuff. Couldn't get the sample cleared. I don't have any official information, but I think You're Not a Robot is one of those songs that really propelled Hoodie Allen because I don't think it was an official release. I think he just put it on YouTube, and that's when everyone kind of picked it up for the montages for Call of Duty and things like that. So I remember really liking that song, and I actually listened to it recently, and it's actually not a bad song. It kind of still holds up. But yeah, I might as well do the ranking now for No Interruption because it was at the start of the video. It's what I've named the top tier after, and obviously it's named No Interruption, so song No Interruption will go into the top tier. You know, 13-year-old me, when I discovered this song, pretty innocent and didn't really know what the lyrics were all about and things like that. Not until I was a bit older did I realise what the song's actually about, which is the case of quite a few songs in that sort of era. You know, we were young and innocent and we didn't really understand what the lyrics actually meant. But I just used to love the melody and the flow and the beat, and it definitely was one of the staple songs in my childhood. And I still listen to it today, still love it, and yeah, know every word for word throughout the whole song. Great karaoke song as well. So yeah, not much more to say about No Interruption really. So let's move on to the third song, which is 18 Cool. Yeah, this is the third most popular song on here, so let's see where it goes.
All American, yeah. I said party over here, call up everybody we know. This is for the women who be feeding off my ego. How to make it in America, doing what we love and we passionate. Yo, girl is cashing in, Kourtney Kardashian. You pulled the dudes back in high school.
This is very 2012.
Thumbs up to my friends drinking whiskey. Peace out to the girls that don't miss me. Cause you peaked at 18. Cool.
Okay, so that's number 3, 18 Cool. And once again, yeah, I think it's really keeping that theme of being very 2012, being very much that era. Kind of gave me like American House Party vibes. I imagine like this song was quite popular for that kind of thing. It just kind of pictured like a very tame Project X kind of thing going on. And I saw a lot of people talking about this album, Hoodie Allen as a whole, really saying it's kind of like white girl music, you know, like teenage boy music. I can definitely kind of see it, but at the same time, you know, it's still catchy. It's got quite a cool instrumentation. I quite like the 2 different guitar parts that were going on, and the lyrics as well. I think the lyrics are probably the thing in the song that really hold up the most. You know, the peak to 18. I think we all can kind of relate to that. Like a lot of people who we went to school with who thought they were the absolute bollocks at school. Yeah, you'll see them now 6 years later when they're in their 24, 25, you know, that sort of age. See, they definitely peaked in high school and secondary school, all that kind of stuff. So I think Hoodie Allen's like 34, I think, at the moment. So when he probably wrote this, he was probably in his late teens, early 20s, maybe 19, 20. So I imagine a lot of these songs are going to kind of have these themes of, you know, just finishing high school, going to college, that kind of stuff. So that might be another reason why this album might not hit as much as maybe it used to, is because it's probably kind of made for people, you know, in that sort of circumstance, that sort of age, just leaving school, going to college. And as I said, I can imagine this one being like a really popular house party college song. And it is interesting listening to it and seeing the structure of the song, very similar to a lot of those sort of poppy songs that came out in that sort of era as well. I will admit I weren't too keen at the start of the song. I don't know what the English equivalent to sort of corny would be, but that's what I kind of got from it. It was a bit corny, you know, always is listening to music that's targeted probably at people 6 years younger than you. I think as the song went on and the lyrics and you kind of listened to more of the song and understood what it was about, I did kind of like it, you know. I don't think it is, you know, a contender for something that I'll probably listen to immediately, but I also don't think it was that bad. I think it definitely holds up a lot more than the first song, so I would probably put it in the middle tier, just because I think it would probably be interesting to go back and listen to it once or twice more, just to kind of see how I really feel about it. But initial impressions is that it's a decent song. Okay, now let's now move on to the fourth song, which is Top of the World. And that's probably an insult to Kanye West, but immediately like monster Kanye West vibe and start there.
Everybody know I'm a motherfucking monster.
Right now, bad girls all in the mad world. Gave them the mace flow. Don't know they dad girls, and they don't wanna mess around. They just wanna get in for free. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. Make your booty bounce like hers. Is everything I ask absurd? If I dig a little, and now I'm always on top like a fascist. Get up on my level, where you at, bitch? The real shit lasts. I take all my days.
Okay, so that's number 4, Top of the World, and I think probably my least favorite song that I've heard so far. Very uninspiring, quite boring to be honest. And yeah, I feel like the intro really did remind me of Monster by Kanye West. Wouldn't be a surprise if, you know, Hoodie Allen was inspired by Kanye West, especially My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because it only came out 2 years before this. It probably came out during the time he was writing and producing a lot of these songs. But yeah, that really did remind me of Monster. You know, the chorus in Monster with the distortion and even the kind of like synth piano in the background, it was kind of similar jingle to that. But obviously it was nowhere near as good as that song. And yeah, just pretty, you know, the subject matter was just pretty crap, you know, just, you know, nothing interesting going on, just talking about money basically. Just a really dull song, definitely one that I'd always skip. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a miss because I think the production was quite good. You know, it wasn't terrible, but I also have no desire to listen to it again. Probably say not for me. I think there's definitely a reason that it is the one of the least popular songs on the album. So yeah, not a fan of that one. And then I will also move on to the next song, which is No Faith in Brooklyn, another song similar to No Interruption that I've heard 1,000,001 times. There's no point me listen to it again, but just like No Interruption, it's up there. It's one of my favorite Hoodie Allen songs. You know, those two and I'm Not a Robot are probably my favorite that I've heard from him so far. Just another song that really stood the test of time and I'm still listening to this day. Another great karaoke song. Yeah, I just think overall it is a really good song. The structure and the pacing of the song is really good, and the feature as well by Jamil is also really good. He's really good on the chorus, great voice. Yeah, definitely one that I can imagine is really popular on the tour he's doing right now. But yeah, great song, and I'm a big fan of No Faith in Brooklyn. I did say it's quite a short album, so we've only got 3 songs left, and the 6th song is called Small Town. So let's get into that.
She in the city, but she from a small town. High heels, tall shots, make her fall down. Up late, now she running with the fast crowd. But she call me every night before she pass out. I don't wanna waste my time with girls who roll in their eyelids. Girls who looking for a place to stay because they came away from Long Island. Girl, but you living in the city, so you always keep your heart near your passport. Yeah, she in the city, but she from a small town. You ain't fooling us. 2 omelets, and I know that it's hard cause you left your
I really like this beat, you know.
like he let you down. You don't wanna talk when the sun is out, but if Grand Theft Auto in your heart like Nico, trying to meet your mother like I'm chasing seagulls. She in the city, but she from a small town. You moved to LA, but you from a small town. You ain't fooling us.
Yeah, but that was actually a really cool song. I really wasn't expecting that actually. It's really cool to see like a mixed bag of genres that have come up so far. And that's why I feel like kind of putting him in this hip hop lane is a bit unfair, because so far the 5 songs in and none of them have really felt like the other. Once again, I feel like it really does reflect the time period that this song was released in, but I think it shows kind of the better side of it as opposed to the other 2 songs on this record. You know, that song really reminded me of like Party Rock by LMFAO, bit more tamer than that, but yeah, a really cool beat, really good rhythm, a couple of funny lines and references in there, like the How I Met Your Mother one, and I thought the guitar was quite cool as well. I don't know what the style of guitar playing that's called, but you kind of see it a lot in songs like Lady by Mojo and I Need You Tonight by INXS. It's kind of that like funky rhythm pattern, and that played pretty much throughout the whole song. Started out as like single chords at the start and then picked up throughout the rest of the song. But I think that's actually a really cool song. I was kind of caught a bit off guard by that. I'm a bit surprised. I really wasn't expecting anything like that on this album. So I think for that reason, I think Small Town will go straight into my playlist. I definitely don't think it is on the level of No Interruption and No Faith in Brooklyn, but still I think it's probably one that I'll definitely revisit, and yeah, that's a really cool track. Okay, let's move straight on to number 7, which is High Again.
Are you moving ahead? Am I falling behind? Fuck it, probably either way, it's all in my mind. Damn, Well put, that's the way it goes. I know you say that you love him, but that was days ago. High again, leaving your smell on my clothes. You get me high, 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 high.
Synth bass is really cool, quite interesting.
Are you going high, high again? High, you get me high, high again. And I'm losing my mind again. High, 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 high.
And that was number 7, High Again, and yet again, a really cool track. I think it's a great choice to go from Small Town to High Again, because it has a kind of similar vibe, but High Again is a lot more toned down. And I think it's the first track on this record, maybe apart from No Faith in Brooklyn, where he's kind of a bit more vulnerable. In the other songs, he's kind of singing about, you know, how he's making a lot of money and he's very popular and he's got a lot of haters and things like that. But in this song, he was just a lot more vulnerable and yeah, kind of showing his feelings a bit more, talking about himself, a bit more personal, which is cool to see. I think you need to have that in an album where it's not just all you just bragging about how good your career is, how good your life is. So I thought that was nice to see the different side of him. And I also really like the hook as well, quite a catchy hook. I think the synth bass that carried on throughout the whole song is really cool. I'd say actually, you know, maybe the least that era song that I've heard on this album so far. You know, I kind of would expect to hear something like that released, you know, this year. Because that song had kind of like a more melancholic, indie pop, dream pop vibe to it, more so than the rest of the songs on here, which is kind of leaning a bit more towards the hip hop genre. This one felt a bit more, you know, indie alternative, and there's not actually a feature listed, but whoever the woman was in this song, you know, really good voice, really added to the chorus and the last verse. So I thought that was a really nice touch as well. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting start and it kind of carried on from there. So yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of that song. I wasn't too sure initially, but as the song went on, yeah, I liked it more and more, and I honestly think I would probably put it straight in my playlist. Okay, so that takes us on to the last song of the album, which is number 8, Ain't Gotta Work.
Yeah, I got Michael Clark Duncan on my speed dial. You ain't impressed, girl? He from Green Mile, by Siamese, like where the fuck do I begin? It's kinda funny, we all chasing the money tree. Son of a bitch, cause bitches wanna have sons with me. Is it right, girl? Is it sex? I do it for the principle, yeah, you know that holy crap. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who hold me back. Be that, here we go, on our way. We don't got no job today. I want anyway. Hey. Everyone's a critic, I make them real proud. I make them hold their hands, speak a little Spanish, but how do you say gold in France? Let's sleep on it, we on it. I got a couch, no Chappelle, put your feet on it. 3, here we go, on our way. We don't got no job today. We don't got no job today. This is for my friends that I lose if I don't grow up. I won't grow up now. I won't grow up now. We don't want one anyway. Hey, hey, hey. Here we go on our way. Hey, hey, hey.
Okay, so that was number 8 and the final song, Ain't Gotta Work. And honestly, I think probably the less said about that song, the better. No, pretty boring, didn't really add anything, to be honest. Not the greatest closing track I've ever heard. Yeah, I think just to get straight to the point, I think for me, probably would be the first song that I put in the miss category, just because, yeah, it just didn't really do anything for me. And overall, I don't think it's that great of a song, to be honest. It was pretty basic, pretty boring, didn't really go anywhere, very repetitive. So yeah, a bit of a shame to end the album on that note, but overall, I must say, yeah, I'm quite content with the album. I will admit that I thought that it would be quite a bit worse than it actually is. And if we look at the tier, we've got the 2 in the top tier, which are No Interruptions and No Faith in Brooklyn. And then we've got 2 in the second tier, straight to my playlist. 1 that I'm going to re-listen to again, 2 of them that weren't for me, and 1 which I thought was just a complete miss. Honestly, I thought a lot of these songs would be lower down in the tier. I didn't expect to actually like too many of them. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think it's held up reasonably well. Definitely is a reflection of the music of that era, and you can definitely see the influences from other songs that came before it. You know, I can't really say that, yeah, it's titled All American. Definitely felt like a very American album with the themes they're talking about, and I feel like a lot of these songs were played during college and high school parties, house parties, and I definitely feel like this was catered towards that sort of audience, like American teens in their late teens, early 20s. I think in the last song or song before that, there was a lyric where it was like, no one likes you when you're 23. So, you know, definitely made for an audience a bit lower than that. So yeah, I think definitely hit your target audience, and I could definitely see that it would be popular amongst that sort of age group. You know, there's probably an argument to say that maybe the album came out a bit too late in terms of the date that it came out, because I feel like if this came out in sort of like 2009, 2010, when this kind of pop style music was really popular, I feel like it could have been a massive hit, but I feel like it just came right at the end, that sort of sub-genre, that sort of era, you know, that early Rihanna, like I said, Jason Derulo, Chitty Bang, LMFAO. You know, a lot of these bands didn't really transition well into the next step of music, whereas people like Rihanna changed their sound completely and went very different ways, especially someone like Jason Derulo, Chris Brown. You know, they've gone on very different paths. This kind of feels like an end of that sort of era album. You know, it kind of encapsulated all of the elements that you kind of find in that 2008, 2012 music, kind of put into one album. So it is really cool to go back and listen to this, because yeah, it kind of threw me back a little bit to my childhood listening to music like this. And yeah, I am happy to say that I think it does hold up, and yeah, it's a pretty good album. So I'm hoping that quite a few of these tracks are played at his live show on Sunday. So yeah, that was my first reaction to All American by Hoodie Allen. Let me know what you think of the album in the comments. Do you think it still holds up to this day? Are you still listening to it? I'm not sure when this video will come out, but his tour would have definitely ended by then. So let me know if you went to go see Hoodie Allen, if you enjoyed it. And yeah, is there any songs on here that you're still enjoying and listening to? I'm sure a lot of you listen to No Interruption and No Faith in Brooklyn, but is there any other songs on here that you're still kind of listening to? I do want to do a few more reactions to Hoodie Allen's albums. He's only got a couple, but there is an album that came after this, which I think is by far his most popular project, so I want to check that one out. He's also got a new album coming out on March 17th, so I'll definitely be checking that out on this channel. And I'll also be posting a wide range of music content on this channel, including reactions and tier lists, things like that. And I do want to do like a sort of mini series where I go back and check these albums that kind of defined the genre and were very popular back in the day, just to see if they still hold up to this day. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice day.